Hi Capricorn, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly report for the month of July. We just finished eclipse season at the end of June, and the last couple of months have been very confusing and emotional. Eclipses are a time when a lot happens in a very short period of time. It's a heightened sense of activity and action, and eclipses also help bring things to light and make us see things in a way that we never have before. Sometimes it's something that we've known about that's been building up for a while, and finally the eclipse just brings it up or it boils over and we have to deal with it. And sometimes eclipses happen in a way that we had no idea that something was coming, or just something that's out of the blue that can change our lives forever. Eclipses are like wild cards. And no matter what, it's a time where a lot of information gets uncovered, things get brought to light. And we were in, Mercury has been in Gemini since May 3rd. And it's been transiting in your house of work and habits and daily routine. And it has been, it's been there for a while. It was out of bounds from May 7th until May 30th, and that means that it exceeded the sun's path. It exceeded 23 degrees and 27 minutes north or south of the ecliptic, and also it means that it acted as if Mercury were retrograde. Then on May 30th, Mercury did retrograde at 24 degrees of the mutable air sign of Gemini, and it's stationed direct on June 22nd. There was a solar eclipse, which is always a new moon eclipse, in your house of work and habits, health and daily routine. And in that eclipse chart, Mercury was only a degree away. And so again, more information on dealing with your health, with your habits. Maybe there were major changes at your workplace. But nonetheless, it's been a very big time of change, huge changes that I've seen in many different ways for people. A lot of moves, a lot of endings. And in the second eclipse, it squared Neptune, which is transiting in Pisces, in your third house of communication and thoughts and ideas. Maybe something at the workplace got uncovered that was deceptive. In a lot of cases, deception or something has hidden has gotten brought to light. That total lunar eclipse at the end of May was in your house of secrets. That could have brought things to light. And that eclipse squared Jupiter, which entered the mutable water sign of Pisces on May 13th, and it will be there until July 28th. It's transiting in your third house of thinking and communication, thoughts and ideas, as well as travel, teaching, marketing, and sales. Jupiter loves being in Pisces, and it rules Pisces in ancient astrology, but I think it's also been expanding the emotional, the heavy emotions, Pisces is a very psychic and sensitive sign, and it's magical when Jupiter's in Pisces, and it really helps all of us to create new things in our lives and to create through our imagination, really believing it to be possible, but it can also expand the fears and the doubts. And so at the end of June, Jupiter stationed retrograde on June 20th at 2 degrees of the mutable water sign of Pisces. We felt that energy 5 days before and 5 days after. And Jupiter is how we expand and how we grow and learn. And then Neptune, which represents the dream, stationed retrograde on June 25th at 23 degrees of the mutable water sign of Pisces. And we felt that 5 days before, and we feel it 5 days after. So it's still looming as we begin the month of July. So a very exhausting time period in a lot of ways, one where we all probably need a lot of rest. But at least Jupiter in Pisces invites us all to recharge and take care of our minds and our spirit, so that is important. It will be there through the end of the month. So the beginning of July, both Venus and Mars are transiting in the fixed fire sign of Leo, in your 8th house of death and regeneration, as well as debt and taxes and credit and intimacy and transformation. And this is an opportunity for you to fix up your finances. If you're starting to pay off a little bit of debt, maybe you're seeking a loan, maybe you're hopefully it's bringing in some financial opportunity. It's great for partnering with others financially. And with Mars transiting in the 8th house, Mars is there for you every 2 years, and it entered there on June 11th, and it will be there until July 29th. This gives you an opportunity to do inner healing work. There's been a lot of loss for all of us in this historically really sad time. So dealing with, however, none of us is unscathed or untouched by this. So, finding those tools to do healing work and to empower yourself. The sun is transiting in the cardinal water sign of Cancer, and it's transiting in your house of partnerships and relationships. Sometimes you can feel a little tired when the sun is transiting in your opposite sign, yet it brings light to your area of relationships. So that's nice for partnering with others. On July 1st, Mars opposes Saturn at 9:08 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that can be a bit restrictive with financial partnerships. Maybe there's some issues with romantic relationships as well, but that is not the easiest energy, and Saturn rules your sign, and Mars is how we want to take action. So it can put delays on action. It's also building up to a holiday weekend in the United States, so a lot of people will be traveling and getting together perhaps for the first time in bigger ways. So, we have to know that there's going to be a little bit of irritability during the weekend with some of the aspects we have, but there are some very magical aspects as well. On July 2nd, Mars forms a beautiful trine to Chiron, the wounded healer. And Chiron is transiting in your house of home and family and emotional security. And that gives you the courage to open your heart to face the wounds to heal, and whether it's around home or family, whatever it is for you. So that's a nice flow of energy. And then on July 3rd, the moon enters the fixed earth sign of Taurus at 8:28 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The moon loves being in Taurus. It's exalted there. It's good for you. It's a fellow earth sign, very good flow of energy, and it's nice energy for you. But just also focusing on the fact that it's going to make a lot of aspects over the weekend. So let's see, it's going to, it's in your house of romance and creativity and fun, so that's nice. And at 12:19 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, it forms what's known as a sextile to Jupiter, which is the grand benefic, and that is also helpful energy for having fun and being in the moment. Later that day at 5:06 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, there is a beautiful aspect known as a quintile, and that's a 72-degree angle, and that's a fifth of a circle. Jupiter, which is the luckiest planet, forms a quintile to Uranus, and this could bring opportunities for financial endeavors for you out of the blue. It could bring romantic opportunities out of the blue. It's a really nice aspect, and it creates magic and fairy tales and brings a flow of energy between the planets. So that is something for all of us to focus on, with a bit of the ups and downs that we also will be experiencing. Later that day at 9:40 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Mars squares Uranus. Again, more of that unpredictability. Be careful on the road if you're traveling. People will be a little bit fired up, or just in general, people might be easily triggered. So just be aware of that fact. And late on July 3rd at 10:44 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and on July 4th at at 1:44 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Venus squares the moon, and that could be a bit difficult or emotional, not a huge deal. Later, the moon squares Saturn. That's more restrictive and difficult. And then it forms a helpful sextile to the sun in Cancer. That's more of a flow of energy. And then finally, the moon meets up with Uranus at 12:41 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That could bring unexpected surprises and changes of plans, or being flexible. Maybe somebody comes unexpectedly to an event. That might be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on who the person is, I guess. But all in all, it's still, we've got Jupiter quintile Uranus affecting us all weekend. Magic, good energy. The moon is exalted in Taurus. It does square it squares Mars at 1:28 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So just being aware of the fact that, again, more of a fiery tone. And the sun squares Chiron, the wounded healer, on July 4th at 11:49 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that pronounces the wounds. Again, all of us are dealing with loss in some way or another, and honoring those that won't be with us this year at these events, and in general, just honoring what we've all been through as we all heal together. On July 5th, there's a lovely energy. The sun forms a sextile to Uranus, and this could bring opportunities for romance, or romantic opportunities, or just having a sense of fun and innovation, and that's nice energy. On July 6th, it's more of a day to lay low. Mercury squares Neptune at 3:39 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That could bring confusion or deception or just hurt feelings potentially. And then later at 10:36 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Venus opposes Saturn, and that could bring challenges financially. That could be breakups conceivably, or just conflict in financial or intimate relationships. So just being aware of that. Lay low if you can on that day. On July 8th, Venus forms a square to Uranus, and I think that's more of a fun energy with Uranus that could bring unexpected financial or romantic opportunities, and I think that could be a fun energy. And it's the day before the new moon that takes place at 9:17 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that occurs at 13 degrees and 2 minutes of the cardinal water sign of Cancer. And for you, this falls in your house of partnerships and relationships, and I feel that that will really help to bring in new beginnings for partnering with the world in many different respects. And this sets off where the third and final eclipse took place last summer. It was in your sign at 13 degrees of your sign on July 5th. And hopefully this brings resolution. You really were put through a lot the last few years when Saturn was transiting in your sign from December 20th of 2017 on and off until December 17th of last year. So that, coupled with the fact that Saturn and Pluto met up at the world point last year in your sign on January 10th. So you've been through the ringer, and hopefully this brings new beginnings for you. And the moon rules the sign of Cancer, partnering with yourself as much as partnering with others to bring in lovely new beginnings. And it's the moon rules the sign of Cancer. It's a time of setting new intentions, doing the law of abundance, and writing down what you want to manifest in your life. And then on July 11th, Mercury finally leaves the sign of Gemini and enters the cardinal water sign of Cancer at 4:35 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It will be there until July 27th, and it will be transiting in your house of partnerships and relationships. Excellent for doing business, for partnering with others, for connecting, and good for all forms of communication with other people. And then on July 12th, Mercury forms a trine to Jupiter. And that's a really positive influence for communication and manifesting. And for you, that could bring a lot of, Jupiter's transiting still in your third house of the mind and communication. So really tapping into that. And then on July 13th, there's very sexy energy for all of us. Venus and Mars meet up at 9:33 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 19 degrees of the fixed fire sign of Leo. And this occurs in your house of intimacy and joint resources. Hopefully it can be very romantic and sexy energy, as it definitely is, and it is in a relationship house for you, but even more so, it could be good for bringing financial and creative opportunities for repairing your finances. So in both cases, really nice energy. And for everybody, it's a good day for dating and meeting people and having some fun. On July 15th, the sun trines Neptune in the sky, and that could be really good for, again, partnering with others and for creative thinking. At 12:41 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Chiron, which is the wounded healer, stations retrograde at 12 degrees of the cardinal fire sign of Aries in your house of home, family, and emotional security. And it's a good time for reassessing how you can heal your emotions, how you can get your needs met, and even facing the vulnerability. Chiron in Aries is vulnerability around ego and identity, and we're all trying to rebuild ourselves in some way. So really tending to your needs. And then on July 17th, that's a day to lay low. The sun opposes Pluto in your sign, and the sun is transiting in your house of relationships. That occurs at 6:46 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that could bring power struggles. It could bring breakups, or it could definitely just bring a lot of intensity and drama. But if people are working in harmony to do healing work, it can be good for really clearing the air and for healing the relationship. It's also good for doing a detox or for doing a cleanse, for getting rid of negative energy, but it's going to be intense. Then on July 21st, Venus enters the mutable earth sign of Virgo at 8:37 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and Venus will be transiting in Virgo until August 15th, and it's transiting in your house of hope and optimism and teaching and promotion and publicity. If you have your own business, this is an excellent time for promoting yourself. It's good for tapping into hope. It's good for travel, and it's a harmonious sign to your own. It's a really nice flow of energy for you. And then on July 22nd, the sun enters the fixed fire sign of Leo, where it will be until August 22nd. And it's transiting in your house of healing and empowerment, as well as joint resources, bringing more light to healing that area of your life. And on July 25th, that's a day to definitely lay low, I feel. Mercury opposes Pluto in your sign, and that could definitely cause arguments and power struggles, and that occurs at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Good for doing research on your own, but people will be combative. On July 27th, Mercury changes signs and enters the fixed fire sign of Leo, where it will be until August 11th in your house of healing and money, so hopefully giving more information and tools for dealing with that area. And then on July 28th, Jupiter, the grand benefic, re-enters the fixed air sign of Aquarius at 8:43 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, where it will be until December 29th, and it'll be transiting in your house of income, how you earn money, and what you find of value. Jupiter in Aquarius expands a lot of options to network and connect with others, and it's very inventive and innovative, upgrading your skills and earning money. Maybe you're making your business more virtual. Maybe you're learning new things. It's very much about learning too. And it's opening doors to bringing in new financial opportunities for you. And then on December 29th, Mars opposes Jupiter at 11:50 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which could bring just a lot of action. Maybe there is a lot to deal with finances. And then later in the day at 4:32 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Mars enters the mutable Earth sign of Virgo, where it will be until September 14th. And that's really good for promoting yourself and for learning, for taking workshops and classes, and also for teaching and publicity. So really get out there. I wish you a lot of luck, Capricorn. I don't think this will be as confusing as a month, but it'll still be a lot going on. So good luck and thank you.